Both the authors of the influencer model and the 4 disciplines of execution would argue that the clearer you can be on your goal or your results, the more effective your organizational change strategy will be. So getting clear on what your wildly important goal is, your lag measures and your lead measures, is extremely important to implement the 4 disciplines of execution strategy. And over the past several weeks, I've been looking at student discussions on this topic and have been rereading the text, and most recently been looking at student assignments. And I think it's important for me to address a really specific and significant way of structuring your wildly important goal, your lag measures, and your lead measures. And hopefully I can provide some insights into ways that you can be more effective. So I'm going to use a personal example. And the reason that this is important is that I want you to understand that I'm not going to ask you to do something I won't do myself. So I'm going to address a wildly important goal that I implemented just before Christmas. And that is related to my personal health. So my wildly important goal is to lower my blood pressure naturally, not with increased medication, but I want to lower my blood pressure naturally to normal levels, the 120/80 type range, by losing 20 pounds by the spring of 2020, by the end of May 2020. Research shows that at some point, medications can only go so far. You've got to make significant adjustments to your health and your lifestyle, and one of those adjustments has to be addressing weight. And there's a fair amount of research to show that last 15-20 pounds that you need to remove can make the difference in your ideal blood pressure and having to stay on medication. And so I'm going down this path because I'm interested in being around a little bit longer and increasing my health. So I want to lower my blood pressure naturally to normal levels by losing 20 pounds by the spring. That's my wildly important goal. It's really important to understand that what I'm doing here is I'm also building into my wildly important goal a lag measure. And that lag measure is this notion of the formula from X to Y by a certain time. That's your lag measure, okay? So my lag measure with my wildly important goal is losing 20 pounds by spring 2020, or by the end of May 2020. So that is built right into the wildly important goal. Now, it's also important to acknowledge that you want to have a wildly important goal that focuses on an outcome that is going to be significant, and then that outcome is impacted by this and that by a certain period of time. So your wildly important goal has to have some factors involved. You want to build in that lag measure. And the clearer you can be on that, the more effective it is to tease out that lag measure. Because once you've got that lag measure, you then can get very, very clear on what your lead measures are going to be. In this instance, so if I want to lose the 20 pounds by spring 2020, well, I've got to eliminate sugar from my diet, white flour, other simple carbs. Okay, that's a method I'm going down. I need to keep a detailed daily record of what I eat. Well, guess what? If you don't measure it, how can you track it? And if you aren't measuring and tracking it, how do you know what you're doing? So that measurement component, some would argue, is one of the most significant factors contributing to weight loss. What gets done is that notion. And then the third lead measure is that I'm going to be recording or consistently using, high intensity interval training, weight training, so I'm doing chin-ups and push-ups and things like that, and my typical bike riding. I got rid of my car and I ride my bike everywhere, and so I'm tracking that as well. I'm consistently doing those things, and I'm also recording it. So the whole recording component is extremely important because, again, what gets measured gets done. Okay, so these lead measures will give me my lag measure of losing my 20 pounds, which will lead to my wildly important goal of hopefully reducing my blood pressure to its natural level by the springtime. So if you build in an effective, wildly important goal, one goal, and in that goal is the formula of from X to Y by a certain time, by when, well, then you've got the makings of an effective, wildly important goal that is going to be achievable, because guess what? You can measure it with your lead measures. So it's really important that you take a look at how you structure all these three components. So the lag measure is not simply repeating your wildly important goal or slightly rephrasing it. And there's a tendency for people to conflate or assume that, well, the lag measure is also the WIG. Well, in one sense, a WIG is a measurable goal. It's a lag. It is dependent upon other lead measures. But if you structure a WIG effectively, you can build in that lag measure component that will make you more effective in planning your organizational change, or in this instance, this change strategy that I'm implementing in my personal life. So you can do these things from an organizational change perspective. You can also do them from a personal perspective. And I hope that this personal example will help you to clarify your thinking on your wildly important goal. One last thing. One wildly important goal. Sure, the book says 2 to 3. I would argue because of the day-to-day whirlwind, we're all busy. People aren't irresponsible. It's not that people don't care. People are busy. You are busy. We all are busy. And so if you get one clear, well-established, clearly defined, wildly important goal that has that built-in lag measure, well, guess what? You can build in 2 or 3 or 4 lead measures that will help you get the results that you want. Hopefully this is going to help you move your ideas forward and help you with your change strategy.